The whiskey made me do it. I ain't gonna do it no more. Hey, we're cranking some Anthony Gomes here out on the pub, man. Had to take a little break from Christmas music. Get, the blood flowing a little bit. Anyway, it's a little bit chilly. It was a little bit warmer today. I thought it'd be okay out here, but it is starting to chill down a little bit. So it's probably my last one out in the pub. I got the garage door up because I don't have a good light if it's down. Anyway, 10%. Brewed in St. James, Missouri, Anthony's Pacification Barrel Aged Rusted Imperial Stout, product of the USA, Public House Brewing. Anyway, so yeah, I poured some of this. I did a video just for the beer, as I typically do. But I love pairing an Imperial Stout with whiskey, and to be a little, put a finer point on it, bourbon. Although it just says barrel aged, it doesn't say bourbon barrel specifically. I'm making that leap, though. I'm making that leap, man. Ezra Brooks. This is a barrel pick for Mackadoodles here in town. A distiller's collection. Hand-picked from extraordinary barrels. Sour mash. It's 107 proof. Hand-selected for Mackadoodles, Springfield, barrel 716-7119. Barrel filled 9.3 of 50 is a 4-year-old bourbon, distilled and aged in Kentucky for Lex Road Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky. Anyway, I digress, man. It's incredible though, the nose. I poured a glass about this size and did a video, and then I poured some more, like I said, as I said at the second video. But as I've let this sit a little bit longer, those barrel notes have really come to the forefront. Early on, I was feeling all those big Imperial Stout notes, that big rich sweetness that you tend to get from an Imperial Stout. But now that as I've let it sit and even warm up just a little, those barrel notes have really come to the surface. It is a tad viscous, but not overly so in my opinion. But a beer like this is supposed to be viscous. I mean, you should almost have to chew that son of a bitch. It is big and rich and everything that a beer like this should be. Certainly some sweet malt. I feel like I'm getting some dark chocolate notes as well. I also feel like I'm getting a lot of herbal notes. I thought it might have been a fluke earlier. I was feeling some anise. But I certainly do, especially now that I've let it sit more. I'm really feeling those herbal notes in a great big way. And I want to pair it with this particular whiskey. So when I popped it the other day for the first time, I noticed it had a lot of big cinnamon notes. So the nose, I get a lot of vanilla, cinnamon, if you could say. I do have it on some whiskey stone, so it's not quite neat. But it's not rocks either. The interesting part about whiskey stones is it actually isn't going to get your whiskey ice cold. However, it is going to lower the temperature some depending on your whiskey stones without diluting it. So it does change it a little bit. Some whiskeys are still going to be better neat, but some will really benefit from a little bit of a chill, and this is one of those. A lot like this Imperial Stout, I get a lot of vanilla in there, especially in the middle. I get a lot of the cinnamon in the barrel right at the end. But it pairs well, as sweet and decadent as this stout is, the oak and the spice from this whiskey really help bring them both together. And again, I've mentioned in other videos, I'm not necessarily looking for a bourbon, for a whiskey and a beer that taste the same or have the same notes. I'm looking for notes that complement each other. And there may be some overlap. I mean, I'm certainly going to get vanilla in both places. But you do feel that large amount of cinnamon here really pairs well with the rich, decadent sweetness and the slight chocolate that Imperial Stout has to offer. And I don't know what to say. Public House doing some of the greatest craft beer on the planet, in my particular opinion. They're small, but they're mighty. They're doing some good stuff, man. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if they're wholly owned now. by St. James Winer. I don't know if it's a partnership. I don't know what the structure is, to be honest with you. But it, whatever St. James is to them, it has allowed them to expand. It has helped for a distribution. And it has allowed them to stretch their legs and do beers like this that they may not have been able to do before. But yes, this is a very spicy whiskey. Yes, it is very sweet initially, and it becomes very spicy right at the end. Again, mostly cinnamon, but it works somehow. And even at 107, it doesn't become overwhelming. Now, am I going to sit and drink half a fifth in a night? No. I'm going to have well, here I'm going to have an ounce and a half and, put it away. But, hey, drink the way you want. For me, it's, not that I never get buzzed or never even get drunk. It's just that that's not the, that's not the objective. When you're popping a good craft beer or a fine whiskey, it's about that journey. It's about the pour, how it pours. It's about checking the nose and examining those flavors. It's a bit of a process. It's not doing fireball shots with the cheapest beer possible, just to get drunk as quick as you can. It's about really enjoying everything. And I like to eat the same way, to be honest with you. It's not about that cheap thing to get stepped. It's looking at the plate and having something enjoyable, that the aromas and then the flavors. It's that same process. What I find interesting is when I did the video for this, and I almost feel like I need to do another video, to be honest with you, is I mentioned how sweet it was. But now that I've let this sit for a little while, because I felt a lot of initial sweetness, and then those barrel notes kind of help dry it all up and clean it up. Now those notes are more, are working together more harmoniously. My mind wandered. Anyway, everything's coming together. And that's the danger when you pour a beer like this too cold. Some of those flavors and aromas, they may appear a little disjointed. And as it warms up, everything is going to come together a little better. That's part of the reason, though, in all honesty, is why I usually like to start it a little colder, because I like to feel the changes. I want to, the aromas, the flavors. I want to see how it changes as it warms up. But ideally, in all honesty, this beer is probably best at about 55 to 60 degrees. It's probably going to be its best viscosity. The aromas are going to be at their best. The flavors are going to come together the most at about that temperature, would be my guess. The whiskey made me do it. I ain't gonna do it no more. Anyway, great Anthony Gomes, man. I gotta be honest. I am a fan, and I have been for a few years now. But I wasn't initially. When he first started making some noise. I don't know, right at the beginning of the new millennium, I suppose. I saw a lot of my friends kind of jump on that bandwagon, and I saw him early on, and I thought he was good, but I felt like it was too staged. The show seemed too staged. It felt like there was a lot of posing. But I've watched this guy perform over the years, first back about 2000, then, 2005, 6, or 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then, over the last couple of years, you could tell how age has really settled in him. I mean, he's really, the tone of his voice has really become that of a blues master at this point. And I don't think there's a better blues guitar player in the business right now. There are those that are getting more buzz There are those that are charging more for tickets. But if we're talking pure ability, I don't think there's anybody better than Anthony Gomes. I really don't. And I got to admit that over the last few years, I've really liked his current sound. His last album, the I don't think they call them albums anymore, but the newest incarnation. Yeah, it has that classic rock kind of feel. It feels to me like the perfect marriage between classic blues and classic rock. Because you certainly can feel those Masters influences in almost every song. You can feel, you certainly can even the lyrics you can, hear Willie Dixon. The guitar playing, you can certainly hear Muddy Waters, and other masters along the way. But there also is that marriage with classic rock, especially 70s, that 70s blues influenced rock with bands like Humble Pie or early Aerosmith, when they were known more as a hard blues act. Anyway, I digress. I talked too long, man. anyways, anyways. I keep glancing up. Apparently, my memory is running low. Damn, I hate when that happens. I deleted a bunch of stuff the other day, but I'm still gonna have to take some more stuff off. But anyway, I am. I just tend to ramble, man. I am Tom, the beer and whiskey whisperer, whiskey and beer evangelist, prolific beer and whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom. Let me go back to some whiskey over here. I had some whiskey stones years ago, and they ended up getting packed away when we moved a few years back. And quite frankly, I don't have any idea where they're at, but I just got these for a Christmas gift, an office party Christmas gift. And I got to be honest, I don't remember enjoying them as much as I am now. And a lot of it could be as maybe I didn't understand them as much as I do. I think I might have been expecting them, to be more like an ice cube. And they're not. They're not going to get like an ice cube. But it does get that temperature down where it does change that whiskey just a little bit without watering it down. Because other than the flavors that I talked about in this particular whiskey, the vanilla, the toffee, a whole lot of cinnamon and toasted oak. What I really love about it is the mouthfeel, the texture. It is absolutely brilliant. It's very silky smooth. It's just very pleasant to drink. And when I did have some on the actual rocks the other day, it does lose that. Once that starts to water down a little bit, you lose that texture. So I would personally, the rest of this bottle, I'm most likely to drink it on the rocks or neat, because there's brilliant neat. However, I probably want to at least try one old fashioned, one Manhattan. I make my own simple syrup. I made my own simple syrup out of some raw sugar. So I'll probably use that to make a nice old fashioned. Although I got to be honest with you, I am primarily a Manhattan drinker. I do love the classic Manhattan. So I will probably have to make one classic Manhattan, just because of how much spice this whiskey has to offer. So there you go. All around good guy. Cheers, y'all.